Good evening, everybody. Glad everyone's here. We're going to start this meeting with our annual OPEB meeting. So you all have the materials in advance. Call the meeting to order, and a motion would be appreciated to approve the order of items.
So moved. Oops, sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. There's a call to the public, though I doubt the public would be terribly interested in this topic.
Well, actually, Anna is on the pension and OPEB program, so she probably is interested.
We're all looking at you.
Any comments? Any questions? Okay.
No, just go listen.
Okay, so the first item is the minutes from last year's meeting. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed, and we'll turn it over to Tara for some questions after 3 remarks.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so first I want to introduce and welcome Matt to our OPEB trust meeting, and he's going to provide a detailed review of our portfolio. But first, I would like to turn your attention to page 4 of the packet, which is the Bloomfield Township Public Library Retiree Healthcare Benefits Trust OPEB Financial Summary Report, which is a one-page report with some yellow highlighting on it. This is a report that Kathy updates the finance coordinator updates every month, and I review. And we just make sure that our portfolio is staying above that 40% funded mark. Just to remind you that PA 202 was a law that was passed, 7-8 years ago, 2017 I think it was, that says that public entities have to have their OPEB obligations at least 40% funded. OPEB stands for Other Post-Employment Benefits, which for us equals retiree health care. Every other year we get an actuarial determined liability for our OPEB amount. This past year that liability was a total of $5,823,000. So that's what our liability is. 40% of that is $2,329,000. And as you can see from that report, we currently have $3,912,000 in our trust, which is about 67% of that liability. So we are more than meeting the law and the requirement of the PA 202. Additionally, in our general fund budget, we have part of our fund balance set aside for the remaining $2 million and some change. So we are really 100% funded, but in the eyes of the law, we have that 40% funding in our OPEB trust. And that is maintained and stewarded by Matt Whitty and his
By now, Schwartz, Whitty, and
his partners at Schwartz and Company, and I'll turn the presentation over to him to talk about the portfolio.
Thanks a lot, Tara. It's great to be here, see everybody again. I'll be quick with your time. I did put together some information that was sent over in advance, but also brought some hard copies of the material here. What I wanted to do was start with a one-page market commentary, or at least a quick look back. As you kind of flip the page more landscape and look at the top right corner, you'll notice 12/31/25. This pretty much captures the market performance as of the end of the year. So let's take a look back at 2025, not looking here at January, but going back for a full look back in terms of the year-to-date column. What I've done there is I've highlighted 3 key areas where we allocate assets on the equity side. That is, the S&P 500 was up 17.88% last year, a pretty good run. Many experts believed last year was going to be maybe a flat to slightly up year. It ended up being a home run, considering the S&P long term is up about 10.5% per year annually for the last 100 years. We'll take a 17.9% rate of return on the large caps. We've got nearly 30% of our assets within the OPEB pension allocation allocated towards large caps. So it's a big part of what we do with regard to blue chip domestic domiciled stocks. Third line item down would be your small cap market, and believe it or not, it says 12.81. That's a pretty good rate of return there as well. But if we had looked at that as of June 30th, that number would have been negative. So the small caps made a big rally during that third quarter and into October, November. So 1281 for an index that typically is the best performing, but it does carry the most amount of risk. Smaller caps, not as secure as, say, large caps, typically a little more volatile in the face of, say, inflation or interest rate movements. But we had a nice bump towards the second half of the year to get to 12.81. So small caps participated. There's check mark number 2. The third one I've highlighted is the MSCI EAFE, which is your foreign stock market on the developed side, not emerging, but your developed markets across both Europe, Asia, Far East, 31.9%. So we haven't been able to look at foreign stocks the last 12 to 15 years and say, wow, they nearly doubled the U.S. market. Typically, it's been a U.S. dominated market run with the capital markets. We're a lot more diverse. We've got a lot more allocation towards tech, whereas the foreign market is allocated towards other sectors of the market, natural resources, industrials, financials. So we'll take that. We allocate 10 to 12% of our assets towards foreign stocks. So the 31.9 helped us get to the 11.2% rate of return the portfolio had. Now comes the very interesting part. Those are the three equity indexes that we most allocate towards: large cap US, small cap US, and foreign. You'll notice the next section down under fixed income, 7.3%. We've been waiting for that bump, and I've been talking about it for a couple of years in terms of interest rates backing up, us clipping a nice coupon, but also getting bond price appreciation. The investment grade bond market, which tracks your BBB through AAA rated investment grade corporates and governments, was up 7.3%. A good year for bonds is typically in the 4.5% to 5% range, okay? If you look at the column to the left of that a little bit, it says yield of 4.32. That's about the yield that we earned. So you're thinking, how do we get to 7.3 if we're only earning income of 4.3? Well, when the 2-year and 10-year treasury rates fall between 40 and 75 basis points, you're going to see a reciprocal bump in terms of your bond price of an additional 3%. So 60% of your return was income, 40% was us getting a little bit of a bump in terms of the bond price of those individual intermediate and short duration bonds that we own. So it's a long way to explain the fact that every single area of the market worked out well last year. We haven't seen this type of a rally across such a wide spread of equities and fixed income in quite some time, so many, many years. Usually it's 2 or 3 or 4 areas of the market. Oh, your tech was up. Oh, your small cap value was doing really well. Oh, well, it's always 1 or 2 or 3 areas that pull the entire portfolio. In this situation, value was up, growth was up, large was up, small was up, US was up, foreign was up, and your bonds were up. So it's one of those areas where we got to 11.2%, but it's hard to point to just one area and say that's the reason why. Because we've got 10% in foreign stocks, but we also have 50% in US stocks. Both did very well, and the 40% we have in fixed income, that did well. So every area of the market did well for us. So I kind of wanted to use this as kind of just a jumping off point, because in all the years I've done this, I haven't seen quite a return like this where every single area was ahead of their historical 10, 20, and 30-year trailing returns like we saw right here within bonds and stocks. The very next page kind of jumps us into the portfolio itself. I kind of want to just kind of use that 5 minutes as a way to just kind of give you a quick look back in terms of the last year. The story's even better for this portfolio going back 3 years, 5 years, and of course 7 years. We're about to pass the 7-year mark of working together on this portfolio. As you look at that page 3, and we're still looking at it there in for our landscape format, there was $3,912,000 in the portfolio as of the end of the year. As of today, or actually through Friday's close of business, the last market day we had open, there was $4 million, exactly $4 million in there. So $88,000 in growth, or about 2.25% so far year to date. The market didn't do so hot today. If you want to check back with me tomorrow, I'll let you know what it looks like then. But let's just kind of stick with what we know through January 16th. Anyhow, let's backtrack up the page. About 38% is in high quality fixed income with a slant towards corporate bonds, a little bit of short, and actually our multi-sector bond fund from PIMCO was up 11% last year. So when I talked about the market being up 7.3, all of our bonds were up around that number, except PIMCO income was up 11.3%. So that was a nice little bump. Moving into equities, as I talked about, a little bit heavier foot on the gas with regard to U.S. stocks versus foreign stocks. We utilize 5 different strategies on the U.S. side. Vanguard and JP Morgan happen to be our largest. And then down towards the bottom, Capital, World Growth and Income, and MFS are our 2 foreign exposed type stocks. The footnote at the bottom is interesting because during 2025, the portfolio gained almost $403,000, or I talked about it already, 11.2% for the year. And then looking back nearly 7 years now, going back to January of 2019, we've had nearly $1.8 million in gains, or 9.12% annually. So when I think about what the investment policy statement states, we're looking to match what the actuarial long-term rate of return is on a 5-year look back. We've been doing this for 7 years. We're at 9.12. Your actuarial assumption, I believe, is 7. So we've been about 200 to 215 basis points annually ahead of what your actuarial rate of return should be. So it's not as if we can give ourselves a raise, but it's nice to tuck away a few extra $100,000 in years like that. And when I look back upon all the years, we've yet to have anything in the single digits. All of our returns have been positive except for 1 year, and the positive years have all been north of 10%. So when you stretch it out over a long period of time, we're going to land somewhere in that 7 to 9% range. It just so happens that it's been mostly better years than what we expected. Any questions on this page? Because we're right there within our target allocation-ish, less than 2% away, the 60-40 split where we want to be. I'll typically, use different areas, or I'll use different times during the year to rebalance or work with you to rebalance the portfolio. But at this point, we're kind of right where we need to be. There is a slight rebalance moving about between $60,000 and $100,000 back to fixed income. I'll show you in just a few pages. Speaking of rates of return on the next page, this is the look back in terms of the calendar year returns from 2020 through 2025. But the top box is that 9.12%. Where have the gains come from? Even though we had a really good year within fixed income, if you look at the box that takes you back to inception, it shows 9.12% annually. Your aggregate bond index has given us 1.86, so we really haven't gotten much out of fixed income at all. I talked about how great this year was in terms of that 7.3. That's just 1 year out of 7. Fixed income's been in a rough shape. Interest rate volatility, we've managed to do okay, but 1.86 was not the main reason why you got to 912. It was that next item down further, the S&P 500 at 16.21% annually the last 7 years. The biggest reason why has been the 50% allocated towards domestic stocks versus the bonds and the foreign stock market. And you'll notice the foreign stock market did 966. So outside of this year, the foreign stocks haven't done tremendously well. They've done okay, positively, but nothing compared to the U.S. market. You'll notice there's nearly a 6.5% differential annually, U.S. versus the foreign market, when we look back to 2019 through the most recent year end. Historically speaking, you can kind of see the other returns there, 11.2, 11.2, 13.9, a lot of double-digit returns. There was 2022, of course. Like to forget about that year, but it's hard to forget it when the bonds and the stocks are both down between 13 and 20%, and then 20 and 21 were good years as well. But this is kind of the scorecard. You'll notice we put $2.1 million into the market. We're at the foot of $4 million now, so we've nearly doubled our money in 7 years, or at least we're on the path towards doing that. We'll see where we go here, but we're off to a pretty good start here in 2026 already. I did drop in the most recent month-end statement just so you can kind of see. I talked about income and net appreciation as far as securities go, and they're highlighted there. We earned $226,000 in income in this portfolio, which was valued at about $3.5 million. That's a pretty good sized chunk of income earned within that 11.2%. It represents nearly, let's call it about 6.5% of the 11.2. And then as I talked about bond prices going up and the value of our stocks going up, that was another $176,000. So when you think about the $400,000 in change that was earned this year, those are the two components, the income and the appreciation of both bonds and stocks. So just wanted to kind of give you a quick look back in terms of where that footnote came from. This is your 1231 statement.
Matt, on that page, do we pay taxes?
You do not. It's just the way in which they do it at the custodial level. I think that's their way of differentiating municipal income, municipal tax-free income versus tax income. So in terms of a kind of a portfolio review scorecard, in terms of the individual managers on page 8, we've listed all the managers at the top that we think are performing as expected or better, looking back over the last 3, 5, and 10 years. All of our bond managers look pretty good, from Lord Abbott down to PIMCO. The majority of our equity managers look pretty good. There are 2 managers that, by way of performance during 24 and 25, made the watch list and then ultimately have gotten to the point where I'd like to replace them. You've got a mid-cap value and a mid-cap blend manager right now, Allspring and Touchstone. They've been in the portfolio for the whole 7 years. It's just gotten to the point where the performance has lagged. They're not huge asset gatherers in terms of being either bonds or large caps, but still, I think in the interest of doing what's right and making the prudent move, it's a matter of moving in a different direction and replacing those 2 mid-cap managers with a new mid-cap manager. Part of my overall rebalance is to replace them and shift some of the money over into bonds to get back to the 60-40 allocation, because right now we're 62-38. I'll come back to that item in a moment here in the comments that are coming up here, but areas to monitor market observations. I talked about the strong market performance in 25. I talked about the broad-based rally, both fixed income and equities participated. The second bullet's interesting because I talked about interest rates. Your 2-year treasury came down 75 basis points. Your 10-year treasury came down 40. So your yield curve kind of went back to normalized. It was a bit inverted at one point. Now it's more normalized. What that means is as that happened, the debt that we own, we get a little bit of an income adjustment, but we get a little bit of a bond price bump as well. That's what the second bullet indicates. And then the third bullet talks about the 9.12%, because I could talk about an annual return all day long or the most recent calendar quarter. I think by way of the policy, it's really that 5-year number you want to look at, or most notable because we've been working together so long. Now it's a 7-year number that we can look back upon the inception number, and that's the 9.12% or $1,782,000. Here comes the action items down at the bottom. We did rebalance the portfolio back in January 25 after a very strong 23 and a very strong 24. We did get back within targets back in January when we met. About that time, we shifted about $70,000. I talked about replacing the 2 mid-cap managers. The manager I want to put in there, we're going to move about $350,000 into that mid-cap strategy. And I've got performance history on the next page you can look at from that management team. But it's not all the money. About $200,000, I want to reallocate a portion, $125,000 further into foreign stocks, and about $75,000 into fixed income. So that would represent the proceeds of those 2 mid-cap managers. It's a slight tactical move on the foreign side. The valuations of the foreign stock market are still better than the S&P 500 here in the U.S. So from a valuation standpoint, or at least in terms of where there's still value in the market to put money to work, we think there's an opportunity there. With it's $125,000, but it's a pretty good chunk of money where we're looking to bump up our foreign exposure by about 3%. That gets us closer to 14 or 15% overall. The other $75,000 to fixed income will just take advantage of us trimming some money off the top after a third consecutive year of double-digit growth to get us back into target at 60 equity, 40 fixed income from where we are right now at 62.38. So that's $75,000. It's about 2%. That will get us much back in line, trimming some money out of stocks, which have been a hot area to be the last 3 years. So that's kind of the action item in front of you right now in terms of just removing a couple underperforming managers, bring a new mid-cap manager in there because we still want to have allocation towards $10 to $30 billion valued companies in the U.S. But at the same time, let's take a little bit of the winnings off the table because these last 3 years have been extremely hot for us. We've made nearly $400,000 or $500,000 a year. This is just a way for us to prudently get back in line with where the policy statement wants us to be. Any questions with that one? Because there's a kind of a lot going on there at once, replacing managers, getting back into target allocation, areas of the market that we see value, like foreign stocks, a little bit more so than the U.S. stocks. But still, it's a modest tweak, about 3% to foreign. But still, it's worth noting that it's being done to take advantage of an area where the S&P and the U.S. market's pretty hot. I'm not opposed to owning U.S. stocks. I mean, obviously, this portfolio is meant to be here 50 years from now after we're all gone. Let's do what's right now for the future. But still, in terms of taking advantage of a U.S. stock market that's still doing well, but moving money into the foreign stocks where we see opportunity.
On page 11, you put I see that the Fuller returns, the 1, 3, and 5, but that's all I have in here, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what that fund is?
Oh, it's a mid-cap.
Sorry, my page 11.
Oh, you're okay. I'm looking at page.
The one with the returns on it.
Yeah, Fuller Thaler. What they do is they identify undervalued companies. They're California-based, but it's a J.P. Morgan team that got scooped out of J.P. Morgan. They received a big paycheck to come out to California to work for this boutique firm that specializes only in managing small and mid-cap strategies, mostly value with a little bit of core. They stay away from large cap. They don't do fixed income. They are primarily a management shop of billions of dollars that focuses on small and mid-cap opportunities. What they look for is areas of the market where certain companies are showing signs of strong long-term growth, but they're showing deeper value in terms of where their stock price is currently. They don't load up their portfolio with hundreds of names. They keep it to around between 40 and 80 names within their portfolio. And the idea there is to buy and hold with a certain price target in mind where they will sell or trim that position down as that small cap or mid cap becomes bigger and bigger, but they know their exit point when they get in.
And those recommendations sound good to me.
It's all Greek to me, so.
Well,
I'll take your word for it.
Okay,
Makes sense.
thanks.
Hey, one question on this thing, I don't see anything about fees in here. Did I miss it?
Yeah, if you go to page, page 12 sort of, it's this one right here, where half the page at the top, there's an average net expense ratio listed of 55 basis points.
And what would
It's
be-
my page 12 in the hard copy book. You can see there. That's the weighted average expense ratio of all of the managers we have in there. What you need to add though is an additional 20, I think it's 25 basis points for my firm. So the total is 0.80. And the efficiencies of a portfolio of this value, we've always, for years now, have combined the assets of everything between the general fund and the OPEB to push that fee down on an incremental basis. So what it means is, instead of charging what normally would be closer to 50 or 60 basis points to manage this, we lump in the money that the general fund has to drive the price down, to give the smaller portfolio the economies of scale of a larger portfolio. So the total cost is 0.80.
And what would be average industry-wide?
Of total, it depends how you want to invest, but I would say actively manage, which is what we have here at 55, is pretty lean. I would like to think that 1% is pretty typical.
It is.
I'd say 1% for a portfolio that's 5 million or less.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions? So I believe we should approve the recommendation.
Yeah.
I'll move it. Second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Very concise, thorough, and it's nice in the up years to have these reports.
Yeah,
We can
right?
in the down years to see how it is. I haven't been on this board for a down year.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Let's
But I
do
always
this
say
one.
we have to thank Peggy Cohen. It was her idea to get us under the auspices of Schwartz and Company when we had that very lean year. So,
Yeah,
Thank
the timing was great in terms
Yeah.
of January 2019. It's been a really nice 7-year run.
yeah.
Yeah,
The market's been mostly up with the exception of 1 year.
yeah, I think our first year we lost some money and went under the 40% and had to put more in, but ever since then it's gone
Yeah.
up.
Well, let's keep it going. Let's make another 500,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All
Great.
right.
It's good to see everybody.
Thank you so much.
much.
Okay.
So that this meeting is adjourned
Okay, we'll call the board meeting to order.
at 6:59.
Sure, thank you. And then we'll start with, does anyone have a request for move an item from the consent agenda? None, so we will, can I get a motion to approve the order of items for the regular and consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. To start with my report, well, I guess I'll just point out a couple of things. One is, I've been here quite a few times, and this, like the library as a cold weather refuge is spectacular. You guys can see how crowded the parking lot is. I think we sent last year a reminder during the typically cold seasons to the township. I would suggest we do that again, because it is
sure.
cold out there. It's nice to get out of the house. And then just the breadth of activities that you see we have going on is unbelievable. I mean, there's kids everywhere, there's activities, there's billboards. I saw the posting today from the second graders on the social media. And then last, I came to a friend's book sale. My daughter is an avid book reader, and she'll buy 20 at a time. She's like, Dad, we have to get there early. And I'm like, we don't want to get there too early. We got here 10 minutes, and we were 32nd in line to get into.
It's never too early.
Can you go to the front of the line? I'm like,
Shane's like, don't you know who I
So, but we had a great, it was a very.
Did you walk out with 20 books?
I think we had 18 this time.
Okay.
We bring the bags in, right?
Yeah.
Because of course I've seen that movie before.
Sure.
So it was wonderful.
I heard they had
That's
over
great.
100 people in line before the sale opened.
Wow.
I couldn't see the end of the line.
Wow.
Was it
Wow.
a special sale?
No.
Oh, just winter?
Yeah.
People reading in the winter.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I'll turn it over to you for the directors.
Great. Well, I was also going to acknowledge the busyness. This is exam week for Bloomfield Hills High School. So many students here study, and they actually are studying.
Yeah.
There's people are taking advantage of our rolling whiteboards that we've purchased more of. We've got some little desktop whiteboards that the students are really enjoying. There's a lot of people in the building, and there has been for the last couple of days, and I want to say there's no incidents or bad behavior. I mean, it's going really
Good.
well. our parking lot's really crowded and I see people circling, and I heard some of you talking about, you know, waiting for parking spots to open up, so that continues to be, it's a concern of mine, but I'm not sure maybe because I can't do anything about it. But we're so glad that the students are here and we, welcome them. I was gonna also mention the display of postcards that are in the local history display case, which you have to kind of walk in and go toward the adult and teen services desk to find the local history display case. But second grade classes at Conant Elementary were tasked with making a postcard about their favorite place in Bloomfield Township, and they're really, really cute. There's several for the library. There's a bunch for Target and Starbucks.
Oh.
My personal favorite is Carl's Golf Land. There's some second grader out there that loves Carl's Golf Land. But they're really, really
My husband
cute.
would like that.
Yeah.
Any for Costco? That's my personal
You
favorite.
know, I don't remember one for Costco, but there's one for Kroger.
I saw one
It's not
for
the same.
Costco.
It's not the same.
Yeah, Starbucks
Costco
at
pizza.
second.
The other display we have in the main lobby display case is also really delightful and worth checking out. It's from the Great Lakes Heritage Quilters. There's some really, really unique and unusual quilts in there. It's really colorful, makes you feel cozy for our winter time. So both of our display cases right now are really great. You did receive an email from Catherine inviting you to the opening reception for the American Revolution Experience. We are hosting this traveling exhibit for a week, and the kickoff reception is this Sunday from 12:30 to 2. The American Revolution Experience is a collaborative project of the American Battlefield Trust and the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution. And they are moving this exhibit around to various places, and we're pleased to host it for a week. If you can't make it this Sunday for the reception, it'll be here until January 30th in the community room, so hopefully you can stop by and check it out. It includes display panels and interactive digital kiosks, and as I mentioned, it's presented by the DAR. It's the Piety Hill chapter of the DAR, which is headquartered in Birmingham. So we're very pleased to show this off, and Catherine and I will be present at the reception, and we get to say a few remarks on behalf of the library.
Very nice. What time are the remarks?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because it goes
Starts
from
at 12:30 to 2, yeah. I think they're starting at the beginning,
Okay.
the first half hour.
Those
that's-
display cases, where will they end up in the library reimagined plan?
Great question. The local history ones will be by the local history area, which is moving to where teen is. And the main ones will be close to where the adult and teen services program room is.
Okay,
And I can point that out when we go through the design.
okay, fair enough, thanks.
Alright, that's my report.
Wonderful. Which takes us to the budget review. Did anybody have any comments on the expenses?
No?
I had just a few on page 5. There's a check to the bulk bookstore, $6,600 for payments of the One District One book. What's that?
One District One book is an effort between the elementary schools and us, and it's to encourage all the elementary schools to read one book and then have a bunch of programming around it. So we're inviting the author here to speak. I wish I could remember what the book is. It's like
Yeah.
Race to something.
I thought it was adult, cause we've done it for adult
We
too,
have done it for
right?
adult, but this is for the elementary schools.
Great.
And we ask the Friends for support, and we are able to purchase almost 2,000 copies of the book and give it to every elementary
Wow.
school.
That's incredible.
On the New York Times bestseller list. Yeah.
And then on page 6, Mobility City, is that the scooter? And is that maintenance or?
Yeah, it's a monthly maintenance fee. They come out and look at it every month, and if there's a problem with it, they'll come out and fix it.
How has that been working out?
Great,
Okay.
great, really good.
What's the usage?
We don't keep track,
Yeah,
but like
wonder.
every day, somebody.
Yeah, a couple a day.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
yeah, that was a really good decision.
I'm so glad.
Excellent.
And then the $627,000 to the township, I didn't go back and look. Is that It seemed high.
It is high. It was 2 payrolls, but it was also our annual pension contribution, which was about $212,000. We also had to pay the annual health savings account contribution that we paid to all the employees, and then a couple of other like annual fees that we have to pay at the beginning of the year. So that was a big one.
Okay. And then my last two were Lakeshore Learning, I didn't recognize, and micro marketing. What are those two?
Lakeshore Learning, it's some vendor of books or DVDs. I didn't look to see what we got from that, but micro marketing is CDs and DVDs.
I thought it was some kind of marketing firm, I wasn't aware of it.
No, I don't know, it's a weird name for a company that
Maybe it's
sells
in Chicago,
CDs and DVDs.
in the Lake Shore.
On our budget, on page 8, so we're 75% of the way through. There was nothing here that really jumped out at me at all. I think we're in good shape. We've got the little bit of overage on maintenance, but we've had to carry over from some prior periods, so I think that's all fine. The gift budget to me looks fine. Do you wanna talk to page 10 or do you want me to?
Page 10, I can talk about page 10. Shane had asked, on page 10 is our asset allocation summary. And Shane had asked about the 4.73 annual yield that we have listed for the RBC capital investments. That's incorrect. Kathy and I had some miscommunication on how that gets done. So she reached out to Matt to find earlier today to get the correct annual yield and find out how to figure that out. So it really is 4.14.
So it isn't that far off, but it is significantly higher than the other ones. But I thought that was the case, that we had one fund that was higher yield.
So this is our main fund, so you take the ladder, all those investments on the ladder are like, you'll see it later, but it's, they're high end of 4.2, so the 4.7 was outstanding, and my question was, wow, how are we getting such above market returns? And the answer is, yeah,
We're not.
4.2 is still wonderful, and as interest rates have
Right.
declined, I'm very happy with that number, but, so just a small correction. Anybody else have any thoughts or questions? So on page 11, we've got the motion, monthly motion to approve, which I'm happy to read.
You should go ahead.
I move to approve the monthly cash disbursements in the form of the check numbers noted for a grand total of $947,545.48, broken down as listed on the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want me to you had a couple other questions that you sent to me.
On the expenses?
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
You had asked about, are we really gonna get $8 million over the next 3 months? The answer is yes.
The big one.
Yeah,
All right, I
yeah.
remember that.
That's the time of year.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we will get it, you had also mentioned postage, which yes, it is killing us, but nothing we can really do about it.
Think of all those people that you're keeping employed at the post office.
You already talked about the OPEB.
May I ask a question about penal codes, because I did read something maybe from MLA about there's a possibility, somebody's calling for potentially that to end. And I know we've talked about it before, it's not for us a significant amount. I don't know how close that is to being
I don't know.
discussed and
I don't know either. I'll have to double check. I know it's come up before. Somebody's always
Yes,
after that money.
Yes, but it's going back to the what I read was that they're asking for it to go back to
what?
prisons,
Oh.
which, for a lot of libraries, that's gonna that's gonna be
Significant.
disastrous. Okay.
You had also asked about some comments around coffee and vending.
Oh, I was gonna do that in other.
Oh, okay. We can do that another then.
There was a comment. Is that what?
So I think that takes us to the call to the public, which is mercifully represented.
That would be me.
Yes.
And I'm here as an SOC representative, and I'd like to comment that the staff party we had on January 10th, though the weather was not cooperative, it was a success.
Good.
It was, a lot of people, all night long just commenting on how nice it was just to be able to get out and see people outside of work, so it was a good feeling, and I was very proud to have both my husband and my son with me, so that was fun. Yeah, and for February, and this is, Nicole gets the kudos for the name, we are doing the Cozy Cup Cafe, which is gonna be hot beverages, primarily hot cocoa, because that's always a fun thing to do, and we're doing bingo again, because that's always fun as
Yeah.
well. So, and then we're gonna be doing officers, I plan to stay on for another year.
Good for you, thank you.
For SOC, you're welcome. It's been fun, and now having this first party under our belt, we're like, ooh, now we
Yeah,
need to
Anna
do
went to
another
another
one. So, we had a fun time, Nicole, Jane and I, doing the stuff for staff this year. And we're kind of excited because before the party, our budget was almost $5,000, so that was cool.
We're not gonna ask what it is now.
Yeah, I don't know. But, I just keep bringing my returnables in so that I can, keep giving us some cash for the checking account.
Good.
But we're having a good time with SOC and doing things for staff. So it's been great, it's been a lot of fun. It's been nice.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you. And
It's
staying
a
on.
joy.
Thank you, Anna.
So unfinished business committees, I didn't know there was an open switch.
Well, last month we talked about committee assignments and there was one question, I think everybody was good staying with their committee assignments, but Keith had expressed possibility of rotating the Friends meeting. But Keith, did you wanna talk about that?
No, I'm okay just continuing to do it, so I know I brought up a concern but, hey, we all have to do things.
I think the
Necessarily
idea-
like all that much, but that's fine.
And we were all sympathetic to the monthly meeting.
Yeah.
But I think you now have a process that everybody can jump in. I think, didn't you jump in, Danny, this time?
Happy to if ever
Yeah,
you're not
that's
able
fine, I'm good for
to.
now,
I mean,
yes, I appreciate that.
I know I'm not
so-
the only one.
Yeah,
But
I
I'd
it's a
love to
morning
go
meeting,
too.
isn't it?
I think it's
Yeah,
great if you
10:30,
send
yeah.
us those notes. Was it who sent it? One of the three of you sent us the note, said there's a Friends meeting, who wants to go?
I sent that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like if you're going to,
I'll take care of it for
And then
now,
if
and
you
if
can't-
something comes up, I'll ask if there could be a substitute, so.
okay,
And I had, I originally had said I would tag team with
Yes,
Keith, and I can,
Okay.
I should be able to do it next
Okay.
month.
As long as I can keep coming virtually, it's no problem
Yeah.
for me, so.
Oh, that's a good thing.
great, thank you, Keith.
Of course, my pleasure to do my part, so.
Alright, so I don't think we have anything further on that. In your folders, there was the proposed committees and Lyndon and I will make that a approved and we'll email it out to you guys, so you have that.
Thank you.
New business, alright. Well, we have Jared on the teams with us tonight. Hi, Jared.
Hey guys,
How are you?
Hi, Jared.
pretty good. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yep, you're
Yes.
good.
Can you hear us okay? Is the audio okay tonight?
Yeah, it sounds good now. It was coming in and out a little bit earlier, but I think that we're good.
Okay, great. Alright, well, so what we're going to do tonight is, you might think to yourself, haven't we already seen this design already, Tara? Yes, you have. But the times that we have gone through this have been at meetings that are not technically public meetings. We've gone through our 60% page turn meeting, which the Library Design Committee did on December 4th. Joy was the only trustee present at that. And then we did an abridged version of that for you all at the December 11th Building and Grounds Committee meeting, so you were able to see the design there. And then this is for the benefit of the public, if there were any public here, but it's also being recorded and recorded in the minutes. And we're just gonna give a very, very high level overview of the big changes coming with the design project. And then I am asking you to approve the design development phase as presented tonight, or to consider approving it. And then that will close out the design development phase, and we'll be moving on to the next phase, which is construction documents. As you know, we've already hired McCarthy and Smith as our construction manager, and I know Jared has already started meeting with them, and we're getting a rhythm to monthly meetings down and kind of figuring out what we're doing next. So that work is happening. I'll talk a little bit about the budget once I go through the whole design. And yeah, I think that that's all I want to say to introduce this topic. Jared, is there anything that you want to add before I start?
No, you did a great job of summarizing. Yeah, we have started discussions with McCarthy and Smith. They taken our design development package and are already going through it to build out a budget estimate in comparison to the one that we had done in the design development phase. So that'll be the next step, is regrouping with them and making sure that this conceptual budget that we have put together is still on point, and determine if we need to make any adjustments before we get any further than that.
Great, thank you. All right, I am going to, Jared, in the room here, I'm gonna pull up this design, these documents, but it's covering you up, so. But everybody, right now we are looking at that cover page that you sent to us, the cover of the packet. And this just shows the rendering of the main lobby area. So I'm just gonna go through this really high level. Catherine, if you wanna chime in with anything, or Joy, that I'm missing or forgotten, please do. Jared, if you wanna chime in with anything, please do. If anyone has any questions, please ask. So this is the view coming into the library. So the circulation desk is over here. The commons is right here. This will be the adult and teen services desk. I can zoom in on this a little bit. This is the fireplace, which, as we've said, we're opening up to be two-sided. And this is also the place where we are planning for that Pewabic tile installation that we are hoping to collaborate with Pewabic and Ruth Adler-Schnee's family and estate on.
On that side, not on the other side.
Right,
Okay, interesting.
maybe wrap all the way around, I don't know, we'll have to see. You can see that Quest has a new home right here, so Quest is still in a very prominent location in the main lobby. The adult and teen services desk is here, and then going back into this area is where we're moving the public computers. So that's to give you a flavor of kind of the tone, the look and feel of the redesign. Let me pull up now our, please stand by while Tara has technical difficulties.
In that big open space in the gray, is there seating in there?
No, that will just be open, sort of how it is now. The commons is off to the left, so there will be seating there. Okay, this is what I want. Okay, now, Jared, I am showing the page with the big ideas and the floor plan. So it's been just over a year that we've been really thinking about this project in earnest. It was about a year ago that we were interviewing architectural firms and designers to hire for this project. So I'm super excited to be here at this point after all the time and energy that we've put toward this project over the last year. Just to take us back, we started talking with Jenna Walker a few years ago about our goals for a project like this, and inclusivity and accessibility were top of our mind. Jenna and Chloe and the team helped us refine to these 3 pillars of connecting to nature, building inclusive community, and embracing and honoring our heritage of this beautiful mid-century modern building. And we're really gonna lean into that with the look and feel of the furniture and the finishes. So to recap the big ideas of this project. So this is the floor plan of the library. The main entrance is right here. This is youth. This is the vending cafe and circulation area. The commons is over here. This is the adult and teen services area to get you oriented to this area. So the first big idea is to move holds from way at the end of the circulation desk to the vending cafe. This was something that came up many, many times where people said that they wished they could get their holds even quicker, and they wish that they were closer to the door. So we're moving those here. The vending cafe will retain its character and vibe of being a place where people will gather, and they can be a little bit more loud. They can eat their lunch or dinner in that area. So it will retain some of its current vibe, but holds will be here too. A door will be built here to the circulation workroom so that circulation staff has easy access to that area. Another change happening in this part of the library is that the welcome desk will be connected to the circulation desk. This is to provide a safe egress for the welcome desk staff in the case of an active threat that were to come in the front door. It also encourages better communication between the two departments and desks. The circulation desk is gonna get an entire facelift as well. And we talked about that a little bit when we talked about finishes the last time. Changes happening over, well, let me go in order of the numbers here. Because this area is transformed into a Holds cafe, the vending machines will be moving to a new corridor that's being built behind the magazine area. This corridor will connect youth services with the teen area, which is moving to this spot here, which is some feedback that we received multiple times, that siblings that might be straddling these two age groups wanted more connection to each other. So there could be some younger kids in the youth room, older kids in the teen area. There's a much closer direct shot to between those areas now. Vending machines would go in this little corridor here, so they wouldn't be out front and center for everyone to see. They would be kind of tucked back in here. This would also be a place where we put our bulletin board for public postings, and a sensory room, which I'll talk about in a second. The magazine room would get a whole facelift, including new flooring, new furniture, but it would still remain the magazine room. The skylights would remain the same. So I think, again, the vibe there will be pretty similar. We are looking at getting a new coffee machine that would sit on the counter here and would be hopefully better than the coffee vending that we have currently.
Be like the one at Baldwin.
And would be more like the one at Baldwin, which is a countertop model that is just, it seems better. We'll see.
Do you anticipate people going into that area to gather snacks and food and then going into the taking it over to the cafe?
Yes. Yep. Number 4 on this floor plan is our new adult and teen services program room.
Oh, I can see.
Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the, what is number 4?
I think so.
The display area?
You've got your key up
The program
above.
room.
You scroll back up.
Unless it's the corridor.
it's the
Oh, it's the
Connector.
connector. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. It's the connector. Thank you.
Well,
Except for eight, is everything there.
Same thing other than that though. It's staff, it's more staff, isn't it? That connector corridor?
No, the
No, that's
connector
to
is
connect
public.
the,
Okay,
It would be to
but
teens and.
where 4 is
I think it's just a
located-
weird placement of it.
Okay,
Cause 3 is move coffee and vending to magazine room, 4 is the add a connector between youth and relocated.
Could I go back to the, me and the vending machines, being relocated, what do you think the access then for people to go, if they wanna sit in the cafe, are they gonna go through the magazine room or, and
There's
the
a
reason
little door right here.
okay, cause I'm just asking because that will be a lot of tread on that particular area, so whatever the flooring is, I think we have to be conscious of that we don't wanna have track marks.
Yeah, I
from-
think
quiet
it's,
and cleanable.
I
Yeah,
think it's rubber flooring in
okay,
that
good,
corridor.
alright.
No machines in the cafe? No vending machines in the cafe or?
In the magazine room area?
No,
No,
in
in
the
the
in the
existing.
cafe.
In the cafe?
No, all the vending machines would be in this corridor.
So
So
that would
really
just
sign
hold
it,
tables
those-
in there,
those people.
in the
Yeah,
cafe.
yeah.
Constantly.
From observation, most people who are sitting in the current vending cafe are sitting there to study or play games or meet with somebody. They're not sitting there because they got snacks out of that machine. People are walking much further back in the library to go to the vending machines.
they're
And then
walking
because we allow snacks throughout the building already, they're walking right back out.
To
So
wherever they can
I
get
think
to.
this actually moves those machines closer to where the people are that actually want the snacks.
Good point. All right, number 5 indicates the youth services room. That's this big area here. The changes coming to this area are moving the youth services desk. It will be, when you first walk in the door, it'll be immediately to your right. And this is a change that the youth services staff has wanted for a long time. It increases their visibility or their lines of vision across the whole department. It makes it much easier for them to see what's going on. And the footprint of the desk, of that desk and the adult and teen services desks would be decreased considerably. Those desks are very, very big, and it's a lot of wasted space. So the design team worked really hard to ensure that they will have all the space that they need for the equipment that they have there and a lot of storage as well. And so we feel really confident that these 2 service desks will be good replacements for the ones that are there currently. Other changes coming to the youth area are just a lot more furniture to support collaborative learning, such as with like a parent and a child working on some homework, or a tutor and a student. And then we have a lot of cozy furniture as well for families to enjoy stories and connect over books. The youth story room will get a facelift in new flooring and new paint. We're adding a lactation room, which is something that we get a request for quite frequently. That room will have a lock and staff will let people in and out of it. And then we're just keeping these 2 study rooms, but giving them a bit of a facelift to kind of tone down the very, very bright pink and orange paint that's currently there. The early childhood area over here will get a facelift as well, and Youth Services has some plans for some interactive toys and panels to purchase there. Another major addition to the youth room is a sensory room. The entrance to the sensory room will actually be in the corridor. God, when you zoom in on this, it's like really zoomed in. The entrance will be in the corridor, and I think that was just because this wall is brick and they didn't want to make a door in that wall. The sensory room will be for folks who maybe need to tone down their sensory stimulation, or maybe need a little bit more active stimulation in that room. So that will have a door on it and will be monitored by the youth services staff.
I have a quick question about that.
Yeah.
So if the point is to tone down, we have it right next to the vending machines and in a hall that might have a lot of traffic. Is that the best place to put that room?
We've thought about that, and the architects are going to add some sound. It won't be soundproof, but at least dampening.
Okay.
Pay attention to that.
And there's no way to get the door, I'm sorry, there's no way to get the door on, right where your cursor is, right there on that?
Yeah, it's a brick wall.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it just seems
That's what you said.
cheaper, actually.
Okay. Sorry, Keith.
No, I interrupted you. I'm not quite getting what this room is.
The sensory room?
Yeah, it's just like a padded cell. Is that,
You could think of it that way. Well, I don't know if I can be very articulate about this, but for, let's say, a child who has some, maybe gets overstimulated, and there's a lot going on, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of books, they could go into this room and the lighting can be adjusted, that is soothing. There would be fewer people around, it would be quiet, it would be a place where somebody could just sort of calm down, re-enter themselves, and then go on with their day. Is that a good explanation?
It's pretty common addition to libraries these days. I'd say over the last 5 to 8 years, it's been a pretty common addition. Libraries of all kinds, publics as well as I've seen it in academic libraries. So just a space to remove a child with a parent, with a caregiver, to kind of bring it down. Decompress, yeah.
All right, let's see, where should we move to next? The commons area will not change very much. We might move some furniture around so that it seems integrated and that it's not just a separate area. We are adding a quiet room over here, and this is sort of at the end of the circulation desk. The thought with adding a quiet area here is because as you move further north in the library, it becomes much more quiet. But for those who want a quiet place to stop and review some books, and they don't wanna walk all the way to the end, or they have mobility challenges that make it difficult to, there's a little spot right there. This is also right next to one of 2 wellness rooms that will have a multitude of purposes. One being for prayer, quiet reflection, maybe somebody just needs a place, again, to kind of get away from everybody else, kind of calm down their own senses. That will be one of our 2 wellness rooms. We've decided that the wellness rooms will not have a door on them, and they will not be mediated by staff at all. They will just be a come and go kind of place, but there will be, the way the room will be arranged, it won't encourage people to stay for long periods of time. It's an in and out, 15-minute kind of place. The Adult and Teen Services desk is moving here, as we've already talked about, and that you saw that in the rendering. Over here is the Adult and Teen Services program room, which is new. Adult and Teen have wanted this for a while for their mid-sized to small groups. Their book clubs, cookbook club, fiber arts club. They have to compete with the public and everyone else for the use of the meeting rooms downstairs and the community room. So this place gives them a place where they can hold, programs between 10 and I can't remember the capacity, 40, 50.
Oh, that big.
And they'll have lots of storage here now too, which they have needed.
Will that be set up, or will it have to be set up whatever the
It'll
meeting
have
type
to be
is?
set up.
Okay, so will there be storage in there for the chairs? Oh, there will be,
Yep,
okay.
and we've chosen furniture that nests.
You can stack or
gangs and
nest,
steps,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
The teen collection and teen area is moving from this area to right here outside of this program room. So this is where the AV collection currently is housed, and we have a lot of tables in this area. And also the local history area currently is here. Bless you. So the teen area is moving here, and I think we reviewed some of the furniture that was going into that area and talked about the ways that area will be made special for the teens, and it'll be right next to the teen collection. Public computers are moving from way down at the north end of the building to close to this Adult and Teen Services desk. We will also have IT staff at this area since we're moving the computers here. That's another direct response to complaints about the long walk to the north end of the building for a computer. And we're greatly reducing the number of public computers we have because we just don't have the use for them like we used to. Adult nonfiction isn't changing, adult fiction isn't changing. We are moving the AV collection to this central area where reference currently is. And we are placing a lot more tables and chairs of different varieties through this area, so it will be kind of like a wandering experience with lots of nooks and crannies for people to choose different postures and seats.
And then the serpentine shelves that are currently there, will they be sold, or will they be used elsewhere or given away?
We could put them
Nice
up
there.
for anybody to use them if they want.
Okay.
The local history room is moving here. It's basically the same footprint that it is currently. That we're building a new archives room, and then the circulating collection will live out here. And this is the second of the 2 wellness rooms. So we feel like we have good coverage, one at the north end, one in the middle. We're adding these quiet reading nooks, which are in the corners of the building where there's this really lovely window and nice connection to the outdoors. And just adding some nice comfortable seating in those areas. The study rooms won't change, except they will get a facelift, which they sorely need. But they will remain in the same configuration. This will continue to be a programming room, though we'll have furniture that's a little bit more flexible, so we can make changes in that room. And we are adding a couple of new study rooms, I think 5 total, which we could not have enough study rooms. We're moving the IT desk, or just kind of around the corner here to this side, so that that staff can still monitor the study rooms, but also put in adult and teen services staff there too, so there's a connection to this local history and this end of the building. That's been a problem. Staff are kind of isolated at that end of the building. So let me look up at the list here and see, I think that's everything. That covers all the big ideas, as we looked at finishes at our other meeting and have a good idea of how things will look. Does anybody have any more questions? Jared, is there anything that you would like to add? Anything that you think I forgot?
I think you did a pretty great job of running through things. We do have some specific items with the design that we're still wrapping up. That as far as the fireplace, getting the specific details with what we're doing there, specialty Wabic design, and to those comments that we had talked about for the microfilm storage. But other than that, real minimal number of outstanding items, and I think that we've got a pretty solid design here and ready to move forward.
Great. Any other
Thank you,
comments or
Chair.
questions?
No, good presentation.
Okay, great.
It's gonna be great.
I think so. Yeah.
We have a,
There is
action
a
item.
motion, yeah. Thank you, Jared.
thanks. Do you
On
want me to read
page
that?
30, yeah, go ahead.
I move to approve the library design project's design development phase as shown on the architectural floor plans.
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Great, thank you so much. All right, Jared, well, there we go.
Thank you.
Is that all you guys needed?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's all we needed.
You
Now
did a
we have to
great
go on
job.
to boring bank signatories.
All right, great. Well, always a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jared, I'll be in touch.
Thank you.
All right, I guess I can put this meeting too. All right,
I love it.
Yeah, I like that too.
Undulating ribbon
Yeah.
theme. Very
Great.
pretty.
all right, thank you so much for that review and for
Thank you.
approving
Yeah.
that part of the design. We're moving forward. I'm excited. All right, bank signatories. So we've changed officers. I have to find where I am here.
33, page 33, 32, 31. I mean 30 here.
Do I hear 32, 33?
Because we changed officers, we have to update bank signatories yet again. So there is a memo in the packet on page 31 with all of the officers listed, and we need a motion to approve this.
Could I ask a quick question
Yes.
first? Thank you. So I noticed that, just mentioning to myself, so I'm one of the people that can apparently sign off for withdrawal of money. Now, I recall that at a recent meeting, I signed some document that allowed an electronic version of my signature to be created. So does that mean that that electronic version could be used to withdraw money? Or will I always know when my electronic signature is being used? Just wanted to understand that process a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a fair question. We will never use your electronic signature to withdraw money without telling you.
Okay,
Usually we use it if we have to sign, I don't know, when do we
The
use
minutes.
the minutes?
Okay.
It's on the minutes.
okay,
Or some document that, we need a signature on from the
okay.
secretary. But no, we're not set up yet to use electronic signatures for withdrawing money.
Which is maybe a good thing.
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
I'd like
That
to get
answers
there.
my question.
but
Okay,
not right now.
okay, thanks.
Why you since you brought it up, we have a ton of fraud. Not just my company, but everyone. It's not just electronic signatures, that's never the problem. It's much more high tech than that. They will take somebody's voice, so my voice is out on the internet. They'll manipulate it, so it's me. I will call someone and say, send this money.
Yep.
So we have instituted a password.
I was gonna say, yeah.
That no one knows that
yeah.
I must use to give to anyone in finance. I don't know what we're doing, but maybe you should put that on your list for,
yeah.
and it may not be within our control, but how do you actually get money out of any of these places?
Right.
Because of AI and
Yeah, deep fakes.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for seniors too. They had a big article about that they need to have a safe word, because they're often getting their grandchildren calling them.
right.
So my friend's, she changed hers because it was poodle. And her other friend in Poodle and another friend in Poodle, so she thought Poodle was too
Poodle's not a good
overused,
one.
so yeah, but yes, that's a big problem that people are trying that.
Well, we currently just write old-fashioned checks, which are also subject to fraud. So we write checks, and then the checks go up to the township, and then the township folks, they actually have to sign our payment vouchers, is what the law says.
Does someone actually physically bring those to the township offices? Okay.
Tomorrow morning, Kathy will take them up to the township and drop them off, and then 2 people have to sign them, and there's usually a nice big stack, so I would like to see ACH payments come. We'll have to pass a policy as a board to do that, and then I really don't know how that process works, but we're
But for her then as a checklist, when you say drop them off, she just doesn't leave them on the desk. Someone has to say, okay, you brought these in and I'm
yeah, she
signing
gives
for
them to the accounting
Okay.
person
So
there.
she does have a procedure she has to follow.
Yeah, and then the accounting person has to connect with the, there's a handful of people that can sign,
Okay.
and it takes a couple of days, and then they actually mail them out too.
Okay.
And we don't see paper check fraud because it's such small amount.
Right.
And then, when you hand your check to the person at the grocery store, not that I do that, just the person who's always in front of me. Like
You're bitter.
that check, anybody can take a picture of it, that's,
Yeah.
the banks figure that out, but it's more a wire, but I didn't realize we don't ever wire.
No. I know, I want to.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
I know.
This is my shocked face. Okay, I think that takes us to other.
No, we have
No,
an
there's a
action
motion,
item.
somebody needs to read the motion. On page 31.
I can read it,
Great.
since I'm no longer secretary.
Yeah, so there would be a
Again,
conflict of
bitter,
interest for any of the offices.
Right.
So there you go.
I move to approve the resolution authorizing signatures, including facsimile signatures for banking services on behalf of the Bloomfield Township Public Library as presented, effective January 20th, 2026.
Second. Oh, there you go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now,
Other, without going into, I have just 2, without going into the substance of the review, how are we doing on Tara's review?
I'm gonna talk with Joan afterwards. We received all of your
Okay.
information, which is great. We don't have to bug or hound or any of those things. And so then what typically I do is I extract the comments, and then that is presented at our February meeting. We'll go into closed meeting session and do that. But Joan and I will meet ahead of time just to review everything, so we have all our ducks in a row. And Tara's great about supplying her answers to the questions that we asked her to provide, and also what are her views for the upcoming. I hope that I haven't read it yet, but I hope that perhaps the accounting or the way that we pay things. And then we are meeting on February 3rd to talk about, have a personnel meeting to talk about the percentage gain for suggested for salary gains.
and I'll share my, I haven't forgotten about sharing the, comparable salaries too.
Right.
So
And
I'll
you'll get that, yeah, we'll
information
get you that packet, so then you will get the, prior to our meeting in February, you will get probably the week before, all of the comments that were made, and then, we don't make a suggestion, we just provide that for you, and then we go into closed meeting and then go from there, but you'll get the comparables from, you'll get the whole packet. You'll send them to us and we'll send them back, so,
Right.
and the
So we're-
comparables are at different
We're not
libraries,
earlier that night, are we?
no,
Same time, 6:30.
And
And
then
then
we
we
have-
stay
yeah,
after.
then we have a closed, and then we call everyone back, and then we close the meeting, so, yeah. And that's it.
Thank you. And I don't know, there were some comments about our vending. So my questions were, what do we charge for coffee? Because one of the complaints is we charge too much. And then one is that, I once got this thing on my reel that said, come taste what someone on the internet called the worst coffee in the world. But
Was it Bloomfield Township Public Library?
no.
Oh.
It was
I was
something
gonna
that-
say,
it was
wait,
something
what?
It's just people react crazy to coffee, obviously, that was my point, but and then there's other complaints about the vending. I noticed that when I walked in, some of the machines are empty-ish. And then there was another comment that we need a coffee machine like Baldwin, which I don't know what they have.
They have,
I have a picture of it someplace, it's
yeah. It's a,
automated one, not what you'd think of vending would be as much as it seems a little more automated,
it
but it
makes
is vending.
espressos and
Like at the
lattes,
Delta
Yes.
Lounge.
like at the Delta
Yes.
Lounge, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Not quite, but
Not quite,
in the same vein.
yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Headed in the right direction.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, we're waiting for our new remodeling in order to get new vending.
Right, so remember at the last meeting, we
Yes.
decided to extend our current
Right.
contract, so we
Right.
can, when we know what we're gonna get, then we can put out another RFP. Our coffees cost between $3 and $4, so you're paying for convenience of getting it when you're here in the library. Vending has been, it's a challenge to keep the machines running. Right now, because it's finals exam time, it's really picked over. Our current vendor is trying really hard to give us the best service they can give, but it's a challenge.
Is that kind of a dying business though, because there's fewer, obviously fewer people we can pick from?
It's
To do this.
has undergone some changes in the last few years, yeah.
My cousin owns a vending business locally.
Where does he live?
We're literally in West Bloomfield.
Oh.
And they're crushing it. Because people now, they're not just buying the candy bar, it's the sandwiches, the
Right,
prepared
right.
food and all that. So again, not just we get prepared food for here,
Yeah.
but they're still making a lot of money.
Yeah. Energy bars.
Cashless, most of them
Yeah.
don't take money anymore, it's
Right.
not just a credit card, that
Right.
eliminates so much of their
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
That's something that our current vendor wants to explore when we do go out for bid again, is, yeah, a cashless, like a fridge RFID type thing, you take out the food, it charges you for what you took out. More fresh options.
Yeah.
Our older patrons will hate it, but the younger ones will be like, they don't
Fine.
have cash anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we stopped taking cash in these machines a couple months ago because the cash and coin receptors kept getting jammed up. Sometimes with cash and coins, sometimes with other things, and then it would put the whole machine out of commission.
That's for other,
Thinking
we don't even wanna know.
I've not really heard any big complaints about card.
Yeah, not taking cash.
Okay, well, I have two others. I did attend the dinner, the staff dinner, which was fun. It was nice to see Lyndon and her husband and Tara and Joe. I represented the Board of Trustees.
She did.
Thank you.
She did.
It was nice, yeah, the weather was
Yeah.
a little dicey, but yeah, it was nice. Also, I wanted to kudos to anyone working in, do we call it technical services?
Material services.
The book processing that you detailed, Tara, everything that had to be redone, I mean, really, they get a gold star for that.
Thank you, I'll pass
That was
on.
impressive, what you detailed.
It really has been a big undertaking.
So
Everything they had
imagine
to
that,
do.
literally,
You know about that.
worldwide.
Yeah, every
I
library.
mean, even if you just think about it in the United States.
Right.
Every public,
Uh-huh.
academic, special
Yeah.
library,
Yeah,
95% used that vendor.
yeah.
Just you
You
think they
know,
would
Which is
survive.
crazy
know
to think
about
that they
that.
went under.
And Ingram,
That's what
yeah,
I'm thinking.
and Ingram has been very cheerful about it. They're like, yeah, we're working on it. I'm sure they've had a lot of work to do too.
A lot of therapy.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I noticed in the, we talked about moving, about reinforcing a desk for security purposes.
Yeah, well, we're not reinforcing it, but changing it so that the welcome desk staff can go like into the circ area, if they needed to exit out.
Are there, would you refer to any of these changes as upgrades to security?
Any of the other changes?
Yeah.
Um,
And if so, I wonder if we might be eligible for any kind of grant to cover some of those related costs.
I didn't to think about that. That wasn't the intent really for any of the.
I think the intent too was more because the welcome desk was sort of isolated and there was just a one-way
And they're
in,
telling them to go over
one-way.
to Circuit all the time anyway.
Right, that they felt like combining and giving them an egress without being open to the public as the only egress. It was more in that regard. And then the height of it was changed too, but I don't think it was solely for security purposes, but it was with that in mind, if that makes sense.
The only other security or safety feature is adding an emergency exit at the north end of the building,
Yeah,
where there surprisingly isn't one.
Right.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
into that, what's currently the computer lab.
To some degree, putting the adult and teen service librarians, having a station next to the IT areas, and that's somewhat security.
Yeah, to
Yes,
prevent,
theft.
and
Well, that desk is very isolated.
Yeah.
There's usually one person there by themselves. They're kind of like way up at the north end of the building. And so that kind of brings them back into the,
yeah, so I guess there
Connects
are a
them.
number of things that'll improve safety and security for staff, even if they wouldn't be like traditional security measures, better sight lines,
yeah.
That was probably
more
the
public
biggest.
place for the public computers, which
Yeah.
I think is what you were
Mhm.
getting at.
Yeah.
So people don't feel so isolated and as if they can view whatever they'd like.
Do you have any idea what grants? I know there's like MMRMA, but
Do you remember a couple of years ago, I was going to introduce you to a good friend of mine, he has a company and he has a
Yes.
couple of Navy SEALs that
Yeah.
are on his company. That's what he does. And he'll go around and assess. He won't look at furniture, he'll look at egress and ingress and all of these things. And he has a whole list of grants that you could apply for. So whenever you want to, if you want to talk with him. But he would be talking about doors and, switches that could do certain things. And so he works with a lot of churches now. But
okay.
yeah, it is sad.
Right?
Jewish community goes.
Yeah,
100%.
that's one of his big clients.
Okay, that's all my other.
Okay. Thank
Just
you.
be safe in this cold weather. God, I like it.
Yeah. Bundle up.
I move we adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
I am.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.